Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Godzilla Minus One, directed by Takashi Yamazaki. Now, when it comes to the Godzilla franchise, us Americans have had our own efforts at depicting the King of the Monsters. Whether it's the 1998 American film that has since been mocked to death by Toho themselves, or whether it's the Monsterverse, which had Godzilla fighting King Kong and fighting other monsters in King of the Monsters. But Toho are basically the ones who created Godzilla back in 1954, and they're definitely the ones who handle him the best. And this definitely takes Godzilla back to his roots in a way that only Takashi Yamazaki can do, which is to say, it's extremely emotional, undeniably epic, and manages to have some of the best effects I've seen for a Godzilla film on a budget of only 15 million. Pretty impressive, but let's get to the story, shall we? The story focuses on a kamikaze pilot named Koichi, who ends up being the only survivor near the end of World War II when Godzilla shows up and kills a bunch of mechanics on an island when he decides to go there, when he fakes having a faulty plane so he wouldn't have to die with honor. So when he comes back to Japan, not only does he find out that his parents have died in American air raids, but there's this woman named Noriko and a baby named Akiko who decide to stay at his house, but they ultimately form a family unit without Koichi marrying Noriko. But while Noriko tries to get a job at Ginza, and while they both try to take care of a baby, it turns out that Godzilla returns and not only lays waste to Ginza, but he also happens to show a clear and present danger for not only Japan, but for the entire world. Which is why the Japanese government has been trying to keep him and his creation under wraps. But with Koichi working alongside the men that he worked with for bomb disposal, essentially mine disposal units, they end up finding a way to try to defeat Godzilla once and for all, while Koichi tries to make up for him for his own guilt for believing that he's a coward for not trying to go through his kamikaze duties. So basically, the film happens to really take a lot of inspiration from the early Godzilla films when it comes to the serious tone and when it comes to the focus on the devastation of Godzilla. Not only are there buildings trampled and people stepped on left and right, but the film really knows how to use the old musical cues at the correct times, especially Godzilla's theme, which plays in key scenes that add to not only the theme's majesty, but also they happen to just fit the tone of the film. It doesn't feel like a callback for the sake of a callback. On top of that, it's one of the very few Godzilla films where I actually care about the human characters. Koichi, Noriko, and Akiko all have great moments, of course, but also Koichi's buddies in Mind and Disposal. Even if they do fit into archetypes at first, like the young, upstanding trainee, the captain who has cynical views on the Japanese government, and the and Kenji Noda, who is a leading scientist who tries to be with it with all the other people in his unit. They initially seem like one note archetypes, but they're definitely very likable. And the actors who play them get a lot out of their roles, even when it comes to the film juggling quite a few characters for its 2 hour runtime. Plus, despite the whole film only having a $15 million budget when adjusted from yen to dollars, it looks absolutely great. Godzilla, in particular, looks as menacing as he's always looked, especially when it comes to his atomic breath. But also, everything from the city destruction to the extras to most of the effects in the final naval battle all look great. It really feels like it's the total package for Godzilla fans. It has the emotional impact, it has the citywide destruction, it has all the musical cues, it has incredible visual effects, and it has a spectacular story that hits close to home for the themes of the original Godzilla films, as well as for it hits the beats for Godzilla's whole creation since he was created as a direct response to the bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Kind of ironic that we got this film in the same year as Oppenheimer, huh? I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. See you next time.